ain't the ones that scream the loudest or cry the hardest. It's the ones who learn to shut up and observe. You think talking gets you somewhere? You think your truth matters in a world that thrives on illusion? Let me tell you something. They don't care. Your pain, your honesty, your warnings, that's all background noise to people addicted to their own voice. You know what your real power is? Silence. That's right. Not your muscles, not your words, not the noise you make when you're desperate to muscle. No, it's in what you don't say, not listening. It's in every lie, every stab they hold you. You hear it all, and you don't say a damn thing. That's strength. That's control. That's what breaks people. Because people, they expect explosions, reactions, tears, rage. But when you give them nothing, oh, nothing terrifies them more than silence from someone who knows everything. You hear them plot, disrespecting, underestimating. You hear the shift in tone, the passive-aggressive digs, the cheap shots disguised as humor. And you let them talk. You let them dig. Let them bury themselves. Because when you move, it won't be long. It'll be surgical. It'll be clean. It'll be final. You see, people like to test you. They poke at you. Try to pull your strings like they're playing some puppet game. But when you don't react, they panic. Why? Because it means they don't control you. And the second someone knows they can't control you, they start fearing. It's fine. They fear the force. You, but they whisper your name in fear. Why? That silence, it becomes a storm. A storm they can't predict. A storm they know is coming, but they don't know when. And that's where you live now. Right there, in the eye of the storm, watching, waiting, listening. Let me tell you something they'll never admit. They need you to break. They want you loud, emotional, chaotic, because that's easy to handle. That's noise they can blame. But when you're still, when you're cold and calculated, you become untouchable. You become dangerous. They don't teach this in school. They don't write this in the self-help books. You don't become powerful by screaming. You become powerful by mastering the art of restraint. The art of hearing every betrayal, every doubt, every insult, and choosing not to react. Because you're not here to entertain their chaos. You're here to dismantle it quietly, strategically, without. See, the world, it belongs to those who keep their mouths shut and ears open. You speak too much, they know you. Watching them fail on their own. And that, my friend, is where the power begins. Not in revenge, not in destruction, but in patience, in the calm, in the silence before the collapse. And when the time comes to move, you won't shout, you won't warn, you'll simply act. And the silence you kept all this time, it will echo louder than any scream they ever expected.
Sorry about that. Come here, girl. Who are you? I'm Deadpool. I guess you're Deadpool too. But in here, everybody calls me Nice Pool. Oh my goodness, wait till Lady Pool. She is gorgeous. She just had a baby too. And I can tell. I don't think you're supposed to say that. That's me. I identify as a feminist. Are those gold-plated 50 caliber Desert Eagle pistoleros? Of course. Match my ear, honey. My dead body. You're fun. And I guess you've already met Mary Poppins, aka Dogpool. Careful where you put your hand. She's 90% G-spot. She'll let you know it. You let this little flirt out of your sight for 1 second and she starts shopping for a new papa. If you can't be a responsible pet owner, then maybe you don't deserve this little unicorn. Guilty on all charges. Shan't happen again. Why are you so nice? I cost nothing to be kind. This is a game changer. Look at this game.
They don't know what you carry inside. They think you're soft, you're silent. They think your calm means weakness. Fools, every single one of them. They have no idea that behind those quiet eyes is a mind that never sleeps. A soul that's been burned, beaten, betrayed, and yet never broke. You heard them when they mocked you. You caught the smirks, the sideways glances, the fake concern. You knew the moment they shifted from being real to being rehearsed. And you didn't flinch. You didn't react. You sat still. Let them play their games. Let them expose themselves. You let them believe you didn't notice. That's what hurt them the most. That you heard everything and still chose silence. Because silence is control, silence is dominance. And when you master it, you become a ghost in their mind. Every word they say after that, every step they take, they wonder if you're still watching, if you're waiting for the right moment to make your move. And that paranoia, that's your presence. You live rent-free in the corners of their guilt. You know what people really fear? Accountability. That's why they run their mouths, trying to twist the truth before you speak it. But when you don't say a word, when you don't defend yourself, don't justify, don't retaliate, they start crumbling under their own lies because they built their comfort on the idea that you'd fold, that you'd react, but you didn't. You stayed quiet. And in that quiet, their own voices became unbearable. That's the curse of a liar. They need you to scream so they can play the victim. But you didn't give them that gift. You gave them silence, and it wrecked them. You let their words hang in the air, unanswered, untouched. And now they're drowning in the echo of their own actions. That's justice. That's the kind of punishment you can't fake. A reaction fades, but silence lingers. Silence stains. Silence grows roots inside their guilt and makes them see themselves for what they really are. Let me teach you something they don't want you to learn. Your silence isn't weakness. It's a loaded gun. Every second you don't respond. Every day you stay quiet. You're cocking that weapon, not to destroy, no, but to show them that you're above their level, that they don't deserve your voice. Because when you've been through hell, when you've been betrayed, humiliated, disrespected, you don't scream for validation. You don't beg to be understood. You go quiet. You go cold. You let your success, your growth, your peace be the noise that breaks them. And they won't handle it. Trust me. People can handle yelling, arguing, even being exposed, but they can't handle being ignored. They can't handle the realization that you moved on, leveled up, and never looked back. That you heard everything and decided it wasn't even worth a response. So next time they test you, don't bark, don't bite, don't think, smile that quiet smile. Let them think they won. Let them celebrate your silence like it's their victory. They have no idea it's your weapon. The real revenge is messy. It's not even satisfying in the way they imagine. Real revenge is proving them. Real revenge is becoming so far above them that their name doesn't even trigger emotion. You didn't stay because you were scared. You stayed quiet because you were focused, calculated, dangerous, and now silence is becoming discouraged. That's why. That's not confidence. That's discipline. That's power. People don't understand what it means to be built in silence. They think if you're not here telling your side, defending your name, you're weak. But they don't see what silence does to a man. It sharpens him. It isolates him in the best way. It strips everything fake out of his life and replaces it with purpose, precision, patience. You sat through the storms without making a scene. You let them lie on your name and stood still while the world whispered. And now look at you. Still breathing, still standing, still watching. That's what rattles them. That you're still here. That their drama didn't drown you. That their games didn't break you. They expected fireworks when they threw dirt on your name. They expected you to cry, to lash out, to beg. But instead, you gave them nothing. Just silence. And it scared them more than any shout ever could. You hear them now, don't you? Still talking. Still trying to control the narrative. Still throwing pebbles. Hoping for an avalanche. But here's the truth. They're not talking to you anymore. They're talking to themselves. Trying to convince themselves they did the right thing. Trying to erase their own guilt by painting you as the villain. And you let them. Because your silence is no longer for survival. It's for strategy. You're not ignoring them because you're hurt. You're ignoring them because they're no longer relevant. Because every time they speak your name, they hand you free rent in their head. Every time they try to explain themselves to people who don't even care, you win. Because real ones don't explain themselves to the noise. They just build. They just move. They just evolve. And one day, the same mouths that try to bury you, they'll be too busy choking on their own regret. So here's what you do now. You stay cold, stay quiet, stay dangerous. You don't owe them your words. You don't owe them your rage. Let them live in confusion. Let them wonder why you stopped talking, why you disappeared, why you didn't swing back. They'll call it weakness, but deep down, they'll know. It's control. You could speak, but you choose not to. You could destroy, but you choose to wait. That's what kills them. Not the silence itself, but what it means. That they no longer matter. That you've outgrown their chaos. That you've moved from being the one who was hurt to the one who hurts without lifting a finger. That's the ultimate power. And you wear it well. They think silence means you've got nothing to say. But they forget, sometimes silence is a sentence, a final one, a verdict, a clean cut. See, people fear what they can't predict, and nothing is more unpredictable than a person who listens more than they speak. You don't announce your feelings. You bury them. You don't explain your scars. You walk with them. And every step you take without screaming, without justifying, without defending yourself, it burns them. Because they expected a firework, but you became a shadow. They wanted attention, but you became a ghost. You stopped reacting, stopped proving, stopped explaining. That's what eats at them now. The fact that you heard everything and chose to evolve in silence. Let me tell you something. You didn't get stronger by talking. You got stronger by surviving. You sat with your demons in silence, stared at your pain with no witness, and rose from things that would have left them shattered. They only know noise. You know pain. They only know gossip. You know grief. And every time they threw another stone, you didn't bleed. You built. You turned betrayal into blueprints. You turned heartbreak into fuel. And And now, every scar is a story you chose not to share. Not because you're ashamed, but because not everyone deserves to know how deep your roots run. Some people, they don't deserve to hear your journey. They don't deserve the privilege of your pain. They had their chance. They played with your loyalty. They mistook your softness for weakness. So now they get silence. Not as a retreat, but as a response, as a warning. The only truth they'll ever get from you again. And you sit there now, watching, learning, evolving. You don't seek revenge in the way they expect. You don't attack. You don't scream. You just grow. Grow so loud in your success, they have to cover their ears. Grow so far, they need binoculars to even glimpse your shadow. Grow so cold, they can't even imagine the warmth they used to take for granted. And every step of the way, you say nothing. You let your silence scream what your mouth no longer needs to. You can't hurt me anymore. Not because you're healed, but because you're smarter, stronger. You've learned that peace isn't in proving them wrong with words. Peace is walking away, knowing they'll never find someone like you again, that they'll search for your loyalty in liars, your patience in pretenders, your depth in the shallow. And they'll choke on the truth. You were the rarest one they'll ever meet. And they threw you away trying to feed their ego.
You better pocket send me my money back.
You're not just surviving anymore. You're studying. You're watching every move, every fake smile, every backhanded compliment. For precision. So when you act, it's not messy. It's not emotional. It's not loud. It's surgical. It's silent. It's the kind of move that doesn't shake the room. It removes you from it entirely, quiet, cleanly, and leaves them with nothing but the echo of your absence. And that's what destroys them. Not your rage, not your screams, your silence. The silence that says, I don't care anymore. You don't matter anymore. That's what haunts them.
Again,
That's what leaves them crawling to memories you've already burned. Because once you go quiet, they finally hear the truth. They were never strong enough, only loud enough to think they did.
Just listen.
Hey, before you watch this video, what if I were to tell you that you can use YouTube with videos like you're watching right now, and you can